da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Do do. In a field of gold is all these eyes need behold to worship. Song trembling upon the lip of wonder, made tangible by the kiss of thunder, of rain to a heart all racked with pain. And so quickly over has begun a slow joy spreads through sad hearts and heads, those who had forgotten to suppose the meaning of one slender stalk, leaning barely beneath what confronts eyes squarely, the bold presence of one red-winged blackbird in a field of gold. Well, hello. Welcome to the Wednesday Evening Musicale, another evening of requests. As promised, a little more kind of bluesy, jazzy, spoken wordish evening. And I wanted to mention my friend Jill Davey out in Berkeley, who requested that little poem, Red-Winged Blackbird. That goes back a long ways, and so does our friendship back to the 1980s in Wisconsin. So I'm going to move ahead now with a song that was requested by... It was requested by someone whose name I have lost track of, so let me know who you are so I can give you props later, but also by Paul and Jean Bach out in Seattle. Skylark, have you anything to say to me? Won't you tell me where my love can be? Is there a meadow in the mist where someone's waiting to be kissed? Oh, skylark, have you seen a valley green with spring, where my heart can go a-journeying over the shadows and the rain to a blossom-covered lane? And in your lonely flight, haven't you heard the music in the night? Wonderful music, faint as a will-o'-the-wisp, crazy as a loon, sad serenading the moon. Oh, skylark, I don't know if you can find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So, if you find them anywhere, won't you take me there? She moves across the parquet dance floor, balancing a drink on her head, Black Russian on a beehive. Hands on hips, Triple E powder blue pumps planting themselves one chunky step at a time, head held rigid, the rest of her body swinging gently and relentlessly. She is perfectly bell-shaped as she swings. My life is full, she announces with her whole being, bursting at the seams in every possible way. It is late afternoon at Hotel Lounge Jazz Jam. At one point, the drummer, at the mere mention of the Hoagie Carmichael song Skylark, leaps over his drums and proceeds to feed a strangely mutant skylark to a sour-toned snaggle-toothed piano. But my belle of the ball doesn't miss a beat, tapping out her chunky rhythm, rivulets of mascara cascading down both sides of her nose, shining like a beacon in the well-cocktailed, scorching August Charleston afternoon. My life is full. She comes right toward me. It happened years ago, but she rises up again and again, clear as the bell she so resembled on that afternoon. She rings true. Did she change my life? Maybe. Once I heard myself telling a friend, my life is so full, and she said, what about the loneliness? Don't you get lonely all by yourself out there on the road? Well, I responded without even thinking, well, then it's full of loneliness. And bingo, there was that woman, smiling and swinging in the air between us. Can we ever know the impact we may have had on another person's life? Or how something in our own is triggered by someone bumbling through like Mr. Magoo? On a national radio show a long time ago, I sang a parody of the old folk song 40 Miles from Albany. The new lyrics concerned the misery of traveling in a van with cats trembling and puking. Well, a couple years after that, two friends were moving in a van from Milwaukee to San Francisco. And the owner of the van asked the rider if she would please leave her cat behind, which she did with no apparent regret. Until about halfway across North Dakota. There, in the sweltering absence of air conditioning, nothing coming through on the radio but static or Jesus is my girlfriend music for hundreds of miles, she realized that the greatest mistake of her life was leaving that cat behind. Well, a huge fight exploded, which eventually settled into a thick silence with no resolution in sight as far as the northern plains horizon. After a while, the driver twirled the radio knob one more desperate time. And darned if he didn't land on a replay of that very radio show with me smack in the middle of singing about cats yowling and puking in a van. Well, that ended the fight right there. They laughed about it for days. I only know this because they know me and were able to pass it on. But what about the little visitations from strangers who save the moment, if not your life? What I'm saying is, I believe in angels. Angels, minus the diaphanous wrappings or dazzling in their otherworldly light. I see angelhood as a particular state of grace into which any of us can step. You can do it on the radio, in your street clothes. If you're hanging out right in the middle of your own life, that's the trick, with all the edges sharp and clear, then you are a candidate for angelhood. That's when you will be noticed by someone who needs a visit from an angel at a precipitous moment in their life. Now, they might sail right on by and knock the drink off your head to boot, but if the light's just right and everyone's at least half awake, the foray into angelhood just might be a success. When it works, a tiny moment can be carried for keeps. For instance, during a period of my life about as memorable as a mildewed dish rag, I was up early after a troubled, wakeful night, heading for the park by the lake to brood at the sunrise. And there all by himself was the garbage man singing, "On the street where you live," at the top of his lungs, and him picking up my and everyone else's crap on the street where I lived. Well, that had the instant effect of 8 hours sleep, and hope crept home again. You see, that's just how it works. I had this revelation that my life is like stretch pants. The fuller it gets, the more it gives. Now, I don't see just any stretch pants here. What I see are some Kelly Green numbers packed to the brim, like the ones on the waitress at the burger joint in Duluth who was telling the cook while she waited for my order to come up, "I'd rather regret all the things I did than all the things I didn't do." And I realized that packed in there are the bell-shaped woman ringing and the garbage man singing, right along with the old guy clog dancing at the festival, spilling his philosophy in the middle of a nimble step. "Live and learn, die and forget it all, ha ha ha." Well, who knows how many angels it takes to fill up a pair of Kelly Green cosmic stretch pants, big as life. I aim to find out. Won't you take me there? Without Wings was the name of that little piece. And that was a request from my friend Rhonda Tucker Taylor from Chicago. Skylark is such a beautiful song to sing. You know, I learned that with a jazz band, but then I was traveling alone, and so I sort of evolved my own little style, which I call my unaccompanied lounge ballad style, where I'm hearing all the chord changes in my head, and I'm suggesting them to you on some esoteric level, which I hope you heard them all, because they're a beautiful set of chord changes, which the drummer didn't know that day at the jam session. That's from a true story. There's a whole... I'm going to continue in the bird frame here, because there's a lot of bird imagery in jazz songs with the like Skylark and Bye Bye Blackbird, and even there's a friend of mine talked about how he thought that the Rolling Stones had ripped off Mourning Doves for Sympathy for the Devil because it starts out with hoo 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 hoo. If you listen to it, you'll hear it in a whole different way now. Well, I'm following that tradition by having borrowed from some chickadees I heard in my own backyard several years ago on a winter day. And they were calling back and forth to each other in these intervals, which I realized after a while were minor thirds a half step apart. And I came in the house quickly and figured out what the notes were, and some chords just started gathering around those notes. And, that's kind of a dark interval. And I ended up taking a journey into the dark side of chickadee-dom. So I'm going to play the Chickadee Blues for you here. And this is for my friends Roger and Carol Faber in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dee-dee, dee-dee, dee-dee. Hear that? Dee-dee, dee-dee. I got me a black cat, but that don't keep me warm when I get blown around in this winter storm. I got to find me some humans who know what I go through to help me fight off these chickadee blues. Oh, summer's a banquet of berry and bug, enough to stuff any chickadee's mug. Come winter, it takes everything I can do to stay ahead of these chickadee blues. Well, my little feathered body barely makes it through the night and has to start from scratch in the morning light. People like me around, how they think I'm cheery and choice. But old Miles put my song in his mad trumpet's voice. Some other birds fly off to a tropical view. No wonder I've got these chickadee blues. Whoa. You know, each new winter night recreates my need for about 250 sunflower seeds. Well, you can make me your state bird, you can call me a friend. I will land on the hand that you kindly extend. And if I make it through the night, I'll brighten up your days and hide my chickadee blues away. I will try and hide these chickadee blues away. Can I answer back, my little chickadees? Dee dee, dee dee, dee dee, dee dee. Chickadee Blues for Roger and Carol. I love to sing that song. You know, there's in that verse about Miles and the. I was out on another winter day, and I was listening to Miles Davis, and out the window here, and the chickadee feeder was over here. I was out getting a load of wood, and I realized suddenly I was standing in the middle of. It was amazing. The chickadees were jamming with Miles Davis on his classic song, So What? And they were in the right key. That's what I mean. I could have died right there. But I didn't, and here I am tonight. Moving on now with a ballad, another ballad I learned when I was first working with a jazz quintet in Michigan called the Jump Boys. A beautiful song. There's the train song is a song that occurs in every genre of music, has some sort of train song in it. And this is yet another, a beautiful train song written by Johnny Mercer and Jimmy Van Heusen. And this is for Dave Sweet, also from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Beaver Island buddy. He asked for this song a long time ago, so I'm finally getting around to it. Seems that I read, or somebody said, out of sight is out of mind. Maybe that's so. But I tried to go and leave you behind. What did I find? I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. We passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, shining down on some little town, and with each beat, same old dream. Every stop that we made, I thought about you. But when I pulled down the shade, I really felt blue. And what did I do? I thought about you. Parked under the stars, a wide stream, shining down on some little town, and with each beam, same old dream. Every stop that we made, I thought about you. But when I pulled down the shade, I really, really felt blue. I peeked through the crack and I looked at the track, the one leading back to you. And what did I do? Oh, 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 what did I do? What did I do? I thought about you. Yeah, what a pretty song. I thought about you. There you go, Dave. Well, let's see. This next request is, oh, it's my request. I snuck one in there. It's just such a perfect time of year to do this little couplet of songs, or actually a poem and a song. High summer, and the way I'm actually feeling at the moment on a day such as this. You know, I grew up around the Great Lakes, and then I moved out to Seattle, and I just remember that there wasn't really humidity out there. It was either like beautiful or it was raining. It was like 100% humidity, but there wasn't that kind of the dew point that we live with in that Great Lakes region. And now I live in Connecticut, and we kind of have that here now near the ocean, where the dew point is what I define as the point at which your do don't anymore. And so I was out in Seattle, and my friend said, I was trying to explain humidity. They said, tell us about humidity, Claudia. So I attempted to capture that incredible, the big H as I call it in this piece. Pithy air. The birds sing sluggish. The phone lines sag as if to belie morose talkers struggling to stay awake as they heap crises on each other. Tornado weather, they call it, where the storms break as sudden inside the body. Straw stuck in a tree, knife stuck in a spouse. The rain has run away to where people know how to be wet and enjoy it. Sweat mangling sheets, acid sweat that eats away the thin veneer of content and leaves the raw wanting painfully exposed to the cloying air. Even the children murmur, step gingerly, as if the entire earth could open in a wink and swallow them whole, sucking in the textured air. Tornado watch. Tornado warning, warning, watch, watch, warning, it is time to do something. But no one knows what. I would go for a walk, but it would be too much trouble to push this air out of my way. I could lie here like some water balloon, pushing parts of myself into other parts, careful not to fall too far. Cloud puffs like God's hawkers sizzling on the atmosphere. Air that makes naked skin one too many layers, flattening the brain and laying the tired lawns low. The spine warps in the heat, and gravity yanks us from our elevated bipedal splendor as we curl down, first the shoulders, the rest soon following, to lie still and wait for fierce wings or a child's scream to blast the torpor and teach us how to move again. This is my request, but I also want to send it out to my Traverse City friends, because a couple weeks from tomorrow, I would have been singing this song with them. Jeff Haas and Laurie Sears and Randy Marsh and Jack Dryden and all the wonderful people who show up at Jazz at Sunset at Chateau Chantal. Not to mention it's also a timely song. Sad and lonely all the time. That's because I've got a worried mind. The world is in an uproar. Danger zone is everywhere, everywhere. Just read your paper, I believe you'll see just exactly what is worrying me now. The world is in an uproar. Danger zone is everywhere. My love for the world is like always, because the world is a part of me. That's why I'm so afraid of the progress that's been made toward eternity. Every morning, noon, and night finds me hoping that everything will be alright, alright. The world is in an uproar. Danger zone is everywhere. Always, because the world is a part of me. That's why I'm so afraid of the progress that's been made toward eternity. Every morning, noon and night finds me hoping that everything will be alright, alright. The world is in an uproar. Danger zone is everywhere. Percy Mayfield wrote that song in the late 1950s, I think, and Ray Charles made the famous recording of it. What a song! What an incredible song! It's one of those songs you wish were obsolete now, but not the case. There's this great little quote from Rumi that I like to do in conjunction with this song, which is, sit down and be quiet. You are drunk, and this is the edge of the roof. Well, that brings me to the conclusion of tonight's Wednesday Evening Musicale. I wanted to tell you that, I realized today I was out picking raspberries, and I realized, my God, I've been doing these shows every week. I feel like I've been on a 3-month road trip, which I wouldn't even do in real life, back in the day. So I've decided that we need a little break. Mark and I are going to take a little break. We're going to have a little vacation for the next little while, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. I'll keep you abreast of what's coming along. There are a lot of things in the works. I'm going to be doing a concert with my friend Sally Rogers somewhere down the line, and some possible other special guests, as well as more requests and my requests. And I want you to enjoy yourselves. I would love it if you go to my website, claudiaschmidt.com, and my virtual tip vessel is there. You can visit that. It helps out a lot. It's really been a lifesaver, I have to tell you, in all honesty. Thank you so much. You can also look at my discography and sign up on my email list if you're not already there. And please share this video too, because everyone who sees it might be someone who's not familiar with my music or these videos, and so we make the circle wider and wider. It's really great. So you take care, and I will see you before too long. I'll be posting things. It's not like I'm going away. I'm not disappearing or anything. So thanks again for being on this journey with me. I'm very grateful. Take care of yourselves. Good night.
Land on the hand that you kindly extend, and if I make it through the night, I'll brighten up your day and hide my chickadee blues away. I'll try and hide my